Welcome to On the Chain.
Yeah, Jeff, I think we should talk about. Why don't we talk a little bit about the exchanges and the
Yeah, let's do
airdrops,
that.
and I want to hear your thoughts
Let's
on
do
that
that.
as we jump into that. And because the thumbnail we had, well, where's my airdrop?
Dude, where's my airdrop? And this, we're hearing this a lot. It's not just from Gary, but we're seeing a lot of Twitter rants about, dude, where's my airdrop? What happened to it? And so here's the question. That I want to pose. Do exchanges have a duty to their clients or their subscribers that are holding their digital assets on that exchange and buying and selling digital assets on that exchange? Does every exchange have a specific duty to then accept and participate in every single airdrop? That's the first part of the question. The second part of it is if they are accepting the airdrop, so they're getting distribution of the airdrop, but they don't distribute it to their users, to the clients or the subscribers or those that are buying and selling on their platform, do they still owe a duty? And is it different? Are they then obligated to distribute those tokens that were airdropped, mainly because those airdrops are coming to the exchange directly because of the amount of asset that's being held on their exchange? So 2 parts of the question, Chip. So the first part, let's address it first. Does the exchange have a direct duty? Forget the other part right now. Do they have a duty to participate in these exchanges?
That's a tough. Well, I kind of have to break it down from there, right? Do they have a duty to participate in this? Well, I think when they went on the record prior to the announcement of the drops and the exchanges signed up, like for example, let's look at just the one of the earliest ones, which happened in 2020, which was the Flare Spark. That was going to be the drop. The exchanges have said they would participate. I believe Coinbase was one of them, Uphold, BitTrue, just a bunch of them. There was a whole bunch of exchanges that said, yes, we will participate. Now, along the way, Flare came out and said, well, we want to launch a Canary testnet and we want to stress test the system before we go live. So we're going to do an interim drop with Songbird. And a lot of people got angry because some of the exchanges, they didn't participate. Well, what people I think fail to realize is that there's a lot of resources and time and energy that has to go into making these and distributing them and make sure everything's done right. There's a lot of accounting behind it as well. And again, that it's a lot of time and energy to put into that, but they already said yes to the Flare airdrop. Now, they didn't say yes to, because the problem is that a lot of these tokens have, if you hold this token, then you get this airdrop and this airdrop. An exchange's responsibility is not to do man airdrops, right? To sit there and figure out how many airdrops they're going to do. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is when you have like something like XFi, like for example, Uphold is participating not only with the Flare, with the Spark token, not only did they participate with the Songbird token, which they kind of came in at the last minute and said, okay, we'll do it. Now people are upset because they didn't do the XFi token. Well, how long does it go and how deep does it go? Now, I understand people can being frustrated about this, Jeff, but it's a business practice, and I know personally, I may have lost out myself. Other people may have, but you have to understand that these exchanges, look, they're running a business over there. And if they said they were going to participate in one part of it, they did. So you can't go like, oh, but there's another part. Oh, but there's this other token and this other. And what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to set up developers to put attention and time on this. So that's the part I think people are forgetting about. I think the emotion is sort of overrunning a little bit. And now, to your point, Jeff, that you made there is that we did read about Solo the other night, where there were 3 big exchanges that did get the drop that were not participating, and Solo did the right thing on that Solo drop and said, guess what? You're not getting them. That's it. You're not going to get it because there was millions, 24 million tokens, and they were not going to participate. Now that is a bad look right there. That is evil. And we don't know who they were. We just know that this went down. But again, to me, Jeff, I mean, your thoughts on that? I mean, that's a whole other thing right there.
Yeah, well, that's the question. So if they're positioning themselves to accept the airdrop, right? There has to be something that's going on behind the scenes for them to have created a trust line or a wallet or something to be able to take advantage of all the assets that are being registered or held in their hot wallet, cold wallet,
Mm.
however we want to look at it. Now they're getting an airdrop. If it's based on the holdings of their clients, they, in my opinion, have an obligation then to pass along each one of these individual clients' benefit, from that airdrop. However, if they're getting benefit outside of their clients' holdings, meaning their own holdings, and they're getting the airdrop, then all bets are off. That's their prerogative to do whatever they want with their business. Maybe,
Hmm.
as you had mentioned earlier, part of their business is that they're not going to distribute airdrops. That's a possibility too. And I'm sure there's, certain exchanges out there, and it might be easier, for, let's say, like a Coinbase to say, we're not participating in airdrops, period. If we get the airdrops, we get the airdrops, but as an exchange, they're not going to set up all of the different or go through all the hoops of whatever's needed to easily distribute those airdrops. So I think it has to be clarified up front, because airdrops are part of the known transactional business now within the crypto space. Airdrops are a reality. So an exchange needs to be very clear when you're holding your assets on that exchange, and they should come straight out, should be in their terms and conditions. We don't do airdrops, or we do certain airdrops,
Yeah, but they already
based
announced the
on
ones.
a certain approval process.
Right, they announced it, but that comes down to this, Jeff. Like, this is Rob McDermott saying this stuff gets complicated, but if you want the upside, then educate yourself. Be flipping accountable, people. And what
That's
I'll
it. That's the end of the day. I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And I'll take it a step further. Is like, well, what are you doing with your crypto on exchanges in the first place? Why don't you have a cold storage wallet? And why aren't you being responsible and then going ahead and making sure that you have done the work necessary to be able to receive the tokens? But no, you want the devs over there at the exchange when they agreed to the top token and they throw in all these other tokens, not the responsibility. It really isn't. I know that might be an unpopular uh, opinion, but I'm looking at this from a business perspective, and the fact that they said yes to the flare, and someone like Uphold and Bitrue said yes to Songbird, but Coinbase said nothing. I mean, I think the downside there is they should have said, "Hey guys, we've chosen not to participate." Being silent isn't the right thing to do either, but they should have been upfront. But they already were. They said, "Hey, we're gonna honor the Spark token." But the Spark token
Yeah.
hasn't started being distributed yet. So there has to be I worry more about people keeping their keys on the exchanges, and it's better, everything's stored on the blockchain, but your keys that you have in your personal control is what you control. And if you control your destiny, then go ahead and do what's necessary to receive the drops. Simply said. I mean, it's just the way it
And you can
works.
you can set that up. So you can set the drops up
Right.
to connect with your ledger, and I think the majority of them, allowed for that. You can put them over on Bifrost. You can put them over on Zum. You can set up the trust lines. If you want to participate in airdrops, you can go that route. I look back on other airdrops throughout the past couple years, and some exchanges, like, even I think Coinbase had participated in some of the Bitcoin forks and airdrops, etc. And so, or I guess there are more forks than airdrops. So that's maybe a distinction also,
Mm.
that it forked and you got extra asset because they decided they were going to carry that part of the fork. But uh, I think, you brought up a solid point. I'm seeing, these comments here. People need to be able to take responsibility, for if they want to participate financially and gain a benefit from the airdrop, then do what's necessary. No, none of these exchanges really owe anybody a specific duty. It's just the only issue that I have is whether or not they're getting benefit. If they're holding your asset and they're getting full benefit off that asset and they're not sharing that benefit with you, but then you know about it in advance. It's not like it's a big secret, right? You know, if you're over on Uphold, for instance, and they decide they're not going to participate, then you're getting zero. It's simple. If you're on Coinbase and they're not participating with a Songbird airdrop, you're getting zero. It's very, very straightforward, you know. And so BitTrue and some of the others have said that they will, and that's it. So I like what Alan says here.
Yeah, he said he used his Zum in his ledger. No solo yet, but anyone wants to see? No, the drop actually happens on January 20th, so that's why you haven't received it. But again, that's how you'd be responsible. Why would you rely on somebody else to wonder if they're going to do it for you? It's not their responsibility; it's yours. So enough said on that, Jeff. I wanted to. You had anything else more to that? I want to segue into this other topic here.
Other than that, I think Gary was super stoked about all these XRP airdrops.
Oh,
Man, you see how fired up he was?
Fired up, man. Yeah,
Man, he had his flannels on,
his
he had
wallet,
his hat turned sideways,
XRP.
he had his wallet going. He was ready, looking at his watch, like, where the heck is my airdrop?
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.